Yeah. The new pier at St. Pete. Yeah, let's go there later. No. Right after the video. Right after the video. Okay. Oh, hey. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to some more JavaScript. All within this wonderful channel of Mr. Full Stack. That's me and my super handsome cameraman. He's over there. Hey, big shout out to a couple of new subscribers. That would be Geith, and his last name is... just joking. And also his friend who will stay anonymous, but not a anonymous function. So thanks a lot for actually subscribing and all of your actual support. Thank you very much. All right, today let's talk about objects yet again, in which arrays are a special type of object. And of course, objects are obviously wonderful objects, but we can have an array of objects or objects with arrays in them. So let's do a few examples and let's get everyone to open up their Visual Studio Code. Stay out the shot. Okay. All right. Let's go on ahead and let's get started. Where's my mouse? All right. So let's go on ahead. We will open up. I'll give you a chance to open up your favorite text editor. And of course, for me, what I'll do is I'll open up this. We'll create a new file. And since we're working with objects and arrays, we're going to call it just that. So objects and arrays.html, and we may use that. We may not. We'll see. But let's name the JavaScript file the same thing. Objects and arrays.js. That'll work. Let's open this up with live server, and we may actually use that. Let's slide this bad boy over here, this one over here, move you over there, close you, and I think that'll do it. Yeah. So yeah, what are we doing here? We are working with arrays and objects because the more we work with them, the better we are handling them. And this is stuff you're going to see in the real world. All right. You may actually use it or you may actually just see it, but you definitely want to be able to work with it. So in this case here, we just want to remember arrays are a special type of object. They hold a related set of key value pairs, just like objects. However, the key for each value is an index. All right, so let's go on ahead. Let's actually make sure we have the JavaScript file linked with the actual page. Okay, and let's add the script. And the source is the same. What did we call that? Objects. Objects. And arrays.js. We'll defer that to have any markup that we use. I don't think we're going to use any markup, but just in case we do, we'll make sure that the markup actually loads before the script is actually ran. And let's see, for here, we're just going to put objects and arrays. Perfect. Let's open up the console, see if there's any issues there, which I do not see any. And let's go on ahead. So an example, let's work with an actual array, in which we've done that in the past. And yeah, we'll do that right here. So here's an actual array. All right, so let's say let car prices array, just a variable here, nothing strange here, equal to, we'll go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. All right. And of course, if any of this looks crazy, just kind of go back to a few videos and you can search within the channel in which we actually did tackle some, arrays 101. It is within one of the actual videos. All right. And to access this, let's see if we can actually access this right here. So if I put in car prices array, all right, I get nothing. And let's see, why is that? We have this, we have arrays, objects and arrays. That's there. Let's just refresh this. Double check. That's loaded, it says. Let's try it again. Okay, there it is. Sometimes live server, sometimes you just kind of restart it before it does anything for you. It kind of hiccups. But nevertheless, we have our actual array set right within here. All right, we have the car prices array set to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. When we place that within the console, we can see the actual data there. And if we wanted to access that, we can simply just say car. Or if we actually wanted to access an individual index here, let's see, we can do car prices array and not length. Length will just give you how many items are within the actual array. But let's say we just wanted to access the first element in the array. And since arrays start at 0, we would do that. And of course, we've seen how we can actually add things to the DOM using the actual, capturing the actual essence of the actual element, and we can actually push that out to an actual website somewhere. All right, so there is a very simple array. All right, now let's use the same thing here, and what I'll do is I'll just put the access, an access example. And how did we do that? That was car prices array. Let's say we're using the second. Putting the second would be the third element in the array, and we'll just leave that there just for your example, just in case you're coming to this site and you haven't seen the actual earlier portion of the actual arrays. So that's how you would access that. But now let's go on ahead and create the object version. So it would be something like this. Let car prices object equal, here's an empty object, but now let's give it car1 property with a value of 1,000, car2 property with the value of 2,000, car3, right? And again, this is just stuff that you may see somewhere else, and we're just going to see how we can actually access these particular members. Okay, and we'll leave that like that. And in order to actually access this, we would do car prices, not the array, but the actual object. And there we go. We have all of the contents of the actual car prices object and the key value pairs right here and the actual value. All right, and if we wanted to just access one of those, one particular property, so we would do car prices object, and we would use the dot notation. We'll use car1, and that is that. There you go. There's your actual value. Okay, so that's how you would get the value out of the object. Let's place that example right here. All right, that's how you would access that particular individual value. All right, now, but that's not the only thing here. What we can also do is we can combine arrays and objects to create very complex data structures. Okay, arrays can store a series of objects and remember their order. And of course, objects can also hold arrays as values of their properties. Okay, so let's go on ahead and let's do an example of that. Okay, and let me just make sure everything's going good here. All right, so let's do let business trip expenses. Okay, so we'll just create an object here. So this object is called business expenses. All right, and within business expenses, we're going to have the expenses for day one, which will be, there's the day one property. All right, and then from there, we're going to have that set to an array. All right, so instead of just looking at here, we have an individual value. All right, we have the key, we have the value. Here we have the key, but here we have the actual array value. So let's go, let's see on day one. The expenses were $20.09 and $30.33 and $650.39. There we go. All right. And let's go for day 2. Okay, we have $10. We have $21 and $30. All right, so obviously those expenses are much less than day 1 because his supervisor called him up at 1:33 a.m. and told him, hey, you need to get those expenses down. All right, and then if we wanted to go on ahead and access that, what we can do is use the business trip expenses, the name of the actual object. And then from there, we'll use the dot notation to get to day 1, or we can get to day 2. Okay, and look at the array that is down there. Okay, and then because it is an actual array, if we want to get to the individual indexes of the array, then we have to use the array bracket notation. And we could do a dot length, but let's go on ahead and do the actual brackets and the index. So let's get the 21 out of there, and that's going to be the second index of the array. And arrays actually start out at 0 index, so we need to use the number 1 and close that. And would you look at that? There's your 21, your second actual value within the actual array. So there you go. You have an array within the actual object of business trip expenses. All right, so moving right along. All right, very good, very good. Let's go on ahead and let's look at objects within actual arrays. All right, oh, and let's put that example there too. Let's make sure we have that just for your reference, just for your reference. All right, these things can be a little crazy sometimes, but it's always good to just see different types of examples as to objects and arrays and blah, blah, blah. So, all right, let's go on ahead. Let's create objects and arrays. So let's create an array. We'll call it item charges array of objects. Super long-winded. Item charges array of objects equals an empty array. So there's our empty array. Okay. And what we're going to enter in that is each index within the array is going to be an object. So here we go. There's our empty object. We're going to say hotel fee, hotel fee. There we go. And we'll say there was a charge of $120. All right, so there is your property, there is your value, and of course we can go line by line, but I'll keep it all in one line. There was a food fee of $28, and then there was a movie fee. Yeah, these fees are starting to add up, of $0.08. And would you look at this? Let's put a rating on there. The rating could be anything. That rating could be for the actual movie. The rating could be for the actual hotel. All right. And you know what? Let's go crazy here and add the array within the actual object, but also within the actual overall items charges array of objects. So here is your array. Here is your object with actual key value pairs. And of course, here is your rating that you wanted to add. And of course, we can go on ahead and now add different types of rating. That rating might be a text value of poor, or okay, or great. Okay. All right. So there's one. That's one object. Let's go on ahead and add another one. We'll say it is a hotel fee. The hotel fee is of $110, and the food fee is $8, and the movie fee was $4. Let's say it was a matinee. When's the last time you seen a $4 ticket, huh? All right, and I think that'll do it. We have two objects within the actual array, okay, and we have a really nice one on the first object here. That's nice. Let's go on ahead and access that. So what are we going to do here to access that? Let's clear this out, and let's make sure we can see everything here. All right, so we have the item charges array of objects, super long-winded. Try saying that 3 times fast. All right, and what we want to do is, well, actually, let's just enter that. Here we can see that we have 2 objects here. We can actually get a little further here and there you go. You can see that there is the 0 index and there's the second index here, which is the first one, or number 1. Here we have the different actual properties with their values and the rating, which is an array. So what we can do is use the dot notation. Oh, but wait a minute. These are actual arrays. So not dot notation. Let's figure out which each individual object is an actual instance, or I'm sorry, not an instance, is an actual index. So let's go with 1. Okay, so 1 is the, as I'm pointing to the screen, like you can see it, that would cover this here. So there's the hotel fee, $110, food fee, 8, movie fee, 4. But let's go on ahead and let's use the first one, which is going to be a 0 index. All right, so that gets us down to the actual individual object, at least the first one. We use dot notation to get to the actual properties, and I want to use the rating. Okay, and rating is a property that is actually an array. Okay, so in order to get to the values of that, we need to use the index, and we see over here it's poor, okay, or great. All right, so let's do that. Let's so that's 0, 1, or 2, and if I want to put the okay rating of the second one, which is okay, I'll use the 1. And there's your value right there within the actual console. So let's go on ahead. We'll copy that for your reference so you can put that there. I mean, different ways to access objects and arrays or arrays of objects. It's something you're going to see if you're, going to expand on your JavaScript skill set. Okay, this is object-oriented programming in itself. Yes, it's a full stack type of course and video series, but there's so much on the front end that we've got to cover before we can even get to the back end. But when we get there, it's going to be relatively easy because you're dealing with all this object stuff right now. All right, so thanks again for all of your support. Subscribe to the actual channel, hit the notifications, do a couple of likes, and of course that's really it. If you're stuck on anything, feel free to contact me directly, and you can leave a comment in the actual comment section as well. And that's it. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. The 4th of July is tomorrow. Okay, stay safe, keep your distance, and enjoy. Full stack out.